Welcome to the McNees Energy and Environmental Podcast Series. This podcast will address negotiating an electric supply contract by Pamela Polacek, attorney at law. Ms. Polacek practices in the Energy and Environmental Law Group at McNees.
In the last 5 years, businesses and other organizations have increasingly taken advantage of opportunities to reduce operating costs by shopping for electric supply. If you are negotiating a contract with a competitive electric generation supplier, there are several key terms and conditions that you may want to consider. Number 1, price and product. Obviously, the price that you will pay is important, but it is equally important to understand what wholesale electric products are included in that price. The wholesale products that the supplier may need to buy in order to serve your account include energy, capacity, transmission, electric losses, ancillary services, renewable products, and taxes. It is important to understand which of these products are included in the price and which are not. Those that are not included will be passed through on top of the negotiated price. Some contracts contain usage bandwidths that allow for additional costs to be passed through if the account does not use the amount of electric that the supplier anticipated. Carefully reviewing this issue will ensure that you get the deal that you anticipate and will also ensure that you are comparing any competing offers on an apples-to-apples basis. Number 2, regulatory changes and other price change opportunities. The wholesale market and the Public Utility Commission have many rules that impact your contract. Most contracts contain a regulatory change clause or price change provision that explains when changes in those rules will result in changes to your price. Those provisions are different for each supplier and should be previewed to ensure that you are fully aware of what events can and cannot result in a price change. For example, during the polar vortex in 2014, some suppliers claimed that higher market prices were regulatory change events that could be passed through to customers on fixed-price contracts, while other suppliers did not seek to pass through the higher market prices. Similarly, in the spring of 2016, many customers received notices from their suppliers regarding price changes stemming from a modification to the wholesale capacity market rules. The negotiated contracts, including the regulatory change clause language, governs whether those changes can be passed on for that account. Number 3, contract term and renewal. The contract should also reflect the negotiated time for service, both when it will begin and when it will end. Many utilities can switch an account within 3 days after the supplier submits the request. If you are switching to a different supplier, it is important to coordinate the end of your existing contract with the beginning of the new contract. Similarly, it is important to specify whether you will need to provide a termination notice at the end of the contract or whether the contract will automatically end. Number 4, billing issues. Finally, the contract should address the billing process, including the time period to submit payment, whether the bill will come directly from the supplier or from the utility, and whether you can withhold any amounts that are under dispute. These are 4 of the negotiable provisions in basic electric supply contracts. If you are dealing with larger accounts, multiple accounts, or more complex situations, there are many additional items that must be accurately reflected in the contract language to make sure that you get the benefit of the bargain. To fully protect your rights and to ensure that your contract matches the negotiated deal, it is advisable to seek help from a knowledgeable attorney. If you would like more information on negotiating an electric supply contract, please contact me using the information on the following screen.